style.
Oh no.
Oh, by Gangnam Style.
Spiral, no.
By the way, Kablamzo, we're live.
Okay. Come to me. Riffs part 408. My angel of music.
So
Perfect.
pissed off earlier today. Recorded 2 hours of Fallout 4 with really bad gruel voice that hurt my throat. Lost it all.
Aww.
All of it corrupted. It happens.
Oh
It
no,
happens.
there's not enough room for me to put in my tweet. I thought they would fix that, and they didn't. Well, what am I gonna do? Instead of saying the parting, I'm gonna say time to go to the Arctic. That should do it. Time to go to the Arctic this year. Okay, that works. Works for me. Now, do we has any art to show? I don't think we do.
No. I checked before.
Sad face. Okie dokie. I'm going to just pop out ye oldie chat and get onto it. But before we delve right into the session, as I normally do, any questions from last session or in general that anyone wants to ask before we get into the game?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I
Groovy.
still can't think of anything.
That's fine. It's not a necessity, just a polite question. Okay.
Oh, muted.
Oh, there
yeah,
we go.
I got one.
All right.
Can we stop by and pick up some warmer clothes?
Oh.
We are going to address
right.
that.
Yeah.
We are going to address preparations for an Arctic adventure. I'm not going to just shoot you guys up there willy-nilly.
Yeah, and
Because,
then we
yes.
just go like, wow, it's cold over here. And we don't
Wow,
have any
now I'm
food.
going to freeze to death.
It's okay because I'm an elf?
Mm.
Question mark?
No.
No exclamation point.
Oh no.
Well, see, my kind of assumption is they say body armor is like environmentally sealed. They're not heated, I guess.
They are.
They are. We will definitely address this 100%.
Huh, okay.
There are a few limitations on the technology, but we'll go from there. We'll go from there. But where I want to just quickly start off with is because we ended the session with this spirit that you freed and trapped within a crystalline prison. Well, blessing you, making them their champions, and heading off into towards the ley line nexus, and disappearing. Soon after, Ezek, Spare, Blink, and Basilisk returned. A radio message is sent up. The Rhapsody comes down, and you guys, now I'm assuming you guys tell the NPCs what happened, or do you keep that a secret?
Let's tell them.
Yeah, we have a
I
very
agree.
awkward conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, it might sound a little unbelievable. Marlis Stotch was witness to that, and he does confess that he was quite afraid, and because he didn't expect this, and he confessed to you privately before the other NPCs show up that as a part of an instinct in his traveling the world is that he blocked the spirit out when it tried to reach out to him. When he saw what happened with you and he decided to relax and accept, it was already gone. So he seems incredibly. The best emotion to articulate is that he's incredibly embarrassed about this, and a little bit awkward throughout this next conversation. We can kind of gloss over you guys telling, step by step what happened. Instead, I can tell you what the general reaction is. Bear, Ezex, and Basilisk in particular have absolutely no idea what to make of it, but they do defer to the party, for lack of a better word, to what they said they witnessed. Alicia, Blake, and August are a little wary, but they don't really say or articulate anything. The most vocal individuals in regards to this are Morgan McLaughlin, Jalea, and Yasmin, who are skeptical. And Yasmin is never, ever since you met her, she was never afraid of voicing her concern. And so we'll delve in character after your explanation, and she'll say, so just so we're all on the same page, some supernatural thing came out of what you were carrying, she points over to Lavin, and told you to go far to the north and do a task for it.
More asked, but essentially yes.
Oh, asked. Okay, fair enough. But you guys are planning on doing this?
Yep.
Okay, why?
Yep.
Why? Yasmin asks, and with like earnestness.
Faith.
There is quite a bit of faith, yes, but I would dare say that there has been, maybe you are not one of the believers, but there has been a fairly large prediction of the end times, and I think these may be willing to help against these, more than willing to help against these particular threats.
Okay.
That
All
aside, it could be risky, absolutely. And I'm not even saying that I'm not entirely unskeptical myself, but if what they said was true, if there are beings there suffering horribly, then and we have a chance to help them, we should at least try.
Jalea asks, I don't know much about magic. You apparently know a lot more. But isn't it possible for people to change what they look like using magic? She says, with icy stare behind her glasses.
Absolutely.
So how do we know that this isn't the case?
We don't. As I said, there could be risk to this, but
There most certainly is a risk to it, Alicia says, but the question is, as with everything that we do, is the risk worth it? If you guys say it is, I don't know. You guys have rubbed shoulders with some pretty powerful people and not people before, and we're still alive, so I'll defer to you, I guess. But this does sound a little crazy. And when she says that, Marlis starts to like bluster in offense to it, but he doesn't say anything. He's just like, "Oh my word, that's risky. These are spirits," and all this other stuff.
If you are concerned that this may be an evil being laying us into a trap, I have on multiple occasions sensed this particular being. I'm unsure exactly how to put this, but there is no innate corruption with it.
Speaking
Sense
of
how asks. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lavin.
speaking of evil beings leading us into a trap, have you ever worked for a corporation?
And Morgan kind of gives a bit of a laugh. He says, "I've only had one permanent employer, and he's pretty decent, but I see what you mean." Julie and Yasmin kind of look at each other. Basilisk laughs a little bit. Blink several, and she kind of gives a bit of a nod. August implies that was a decent observation from a mercenary. But Morgan McLaughlin does turn to... Yeah, August is still August. He's trying to be nicer, but he's not perfect. And you still did try to... You didn't forget, by the way, what you did to him in Ishkaming.
It was Dom's idea.
Sure.
It was.
Anyway, but Morgan McLaughlin looks to Patrick and he says, "Sense? What do you mean, sense? Like you cast a spell? You have like a psychic power? Is it like an intuition? What do you mean?"
I have a way to see. It is magic in nature, and it is a way to see basically the basic aura of somebody, how powerfully attuned they are to either psychic or magical abilities, how much the world has weathered them, and how much they're used to it. Many different things, which does include, let's just say, there are things that may be considered a good and bad, but there are other life forms that are born from concepts like good and evil.
I see. So if it had evil intent, you'd be able to sense it.
If it was born of evil, definitely. And from the environment and what I've sensed from it, it all seems to point towards a being I've been researching, or beings I've been researching for quite some time.
Morgan kind of just thinks about this for a bit. I can move on. I just wanted a discussion in regards to this with all the NPCs. Were there any other points that you guys wanted to bring up as a player to either reassure or reconfirm? Yeah, go ahead.
I would say two things. I can't describe the feeling it left me with, and I wouldn't expect anyone to take that as evidence. But if this is some sort of trap, then I'm pretty sure that we can all agree that we wouldn't be the last ones they would attempt to ensnare. And while I can't say we're prepared for this, we've seen a lot, we've done a lot, and we're probably more prepared than whatever poor fools it would find next. Better to deal with it than leave it to someone else.
That's true.
That's what we did with the Horn Demon.
And if this is what we think it is, if this is us rescuing beings, this would be essentially, as far as I'm concerned, exactly like what we did for the elementals. We returned them home, and I think we should try and return these people, or these beings.
Al nods.
If we can.
And Marla Stotch says, and besides, the being itself warned that there was going to be danger and to be prepared and come with friends. What kind of trap is laid when the person who lays the trap says, watch out, there's danger? It doesn't make any sense.
Al nods. If we don't at least attempt this, I can't speak for anyone else, but I at least will spend maybe the rest of my life wondering if I should have tried.
With that, sorry. Any other points anyone wanted to make?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No.
With the bringing up of all those points, Morgan McLaughlin, Alicia, Blink, August, all come around, and even Julia gives a begrudging, at the very least, consent, as does Yasmin. They both aren't fully comfortable, and perhaps that's dealing with this new situation or emotional turmoil that one or both of them are going through. Their entire lives have changed in less than the span of a week. But regardless, there is a consensus that amongst the individuals currently occupying the Rhapsody, that this, at the very least, is worthwhile. The next point, of course, is planning for the journey up north and what you guys have encountered the past 3 days. So, would it make sense for you guys as players, for everyone to come together in the meeting room and kind of hash out and plan out what steps need to be made next? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, first things first, of course, there is a question about the chittering, chattering teeth that are in some of the large that's in specifically one large containment bin. It's been left outside for over a day, and these beings have not broken through or chewed through it. However, they have not stopped, and you can still hear, if you press your ear up against it, or if you open the single viewer slat, you can hear them chittering and bouncing around, seemingly with endless energy. The question is, of course, what do we plan on doing with these things? Because many individuals are comfortable with having them on the ship temporarily. There was talk of Patrick seeing someone in either New Laszlo or Tolkien and handing them over for research and study. And if this whole spirit thing is relatively short, people could be convinced to keep them on board the ship. But the first question is what's the plan with these things?
That's a good question.
Should I speak for this, or?
Yeah, please do, because as far
Yeah,
as
you're
I'm
the biggest
concerned,
proponent for them.
yeah, as far
Right.
as I'm concerned, these fall into your wheelhouse. You decide what to do with them.
I was definitely thinking Tolkien, and the sooner the better for just people's ease, as well as I'm sure these things are doing something to the inside, and rather not keep them in there for longer than needed.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Okay, no problem. So the next about is journeying. If they're going to Tolkien, if they plan on going to Tolkien, they might as well kill two birds with one stone. Blink suggests, and we should get the proper supplies for this journey.
Mhm.
Now, with this in mind, I would like, let's see here. Lavin is pretty much everyone has a general familiarity with body armor itself, how it operates, and how it is worn, and its capabilities. Some of you with a more mechanical insight might have a deeper understanding. So, Patrick,
Yeah.
let me just take a moment so I can read over your character sheet, see if there's any relevant skills here. Mechanical engineering is close to that. Not electrical engineering, less much. Don't you have like a weapons? Yeah, weapons engineer.
Yeah.
And weapons would not only be physical weapons, but armor to protect against the weapons. And both that and your mechanical engineer are the same. So I'd like you to roll that with no... And anyone else who has either weapons engineer or mechanical engineer may also roll their skill check at absolutely no penalty. The rest of you, of course, kind of get an automatic skill pass for this next bit of information. Okay, you succeed by 38. That's good. Okay, so body armor, as was brought up just before the session by our good friend Spiral here, is that it has environmental systems to it. It can protect against cold and heat. When it's very warm, there's a cooling unit. When it's very cold, there's a warming unit. And this works well between approximately 10 degrees Fahrenheit to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. However, with the absolute extreme temperatures, and although no one has been far up north, at least in the party, and I don't believe any of your backgrounds have you being far up north towards the Arctic, it can be reasonably assumed by those scientifically in mind, or those of you who understand weather, that we're reaching, even in the spring, sub-zero temperatures. And that has the potential to overheat the not the cooling unit, the warming unit in most brands of body armor after about 12 to 15 hours of use. This is a broad estimation. Now, perhaps there are forms of body armor that are made specifically to combat the sub-zero temperatures for a very, very long time. But none that you are aware of, and none that you're aware that, say, the big producers like Northern Gun, Wilkes, or any sort of knockoff made by Independent Kingdom or the black market would actually have. So before I go into the trade-off between body armor and simply wearing warm clothes with other protection equipment, I should address the skill check that Patrick succeeded so very well. Now, is it all right if I kind of put an idea in your character's mind, Piph?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I just outlined right there about the limitations is the standard factory model without any sort of optimization or customization. Perhaps if one were to tinker or to modify or to optimize body armor, you might be able to significantly extend this overheating period of about 12 to 15 hours. So that sound fair?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And with this in mind, would Patrick would that be in his interest to see if he couldn't, for lack of a better word, push a standard body armor to its environmental limits?
I think he would probably want to do that, yes.
Okay. So this doesn't come like a light in your head instantaneously, but during the next little time, as we travel, as you spend some time in Tolkien, you'll have a few options as far as customization, and might as well address it now because it's going to help you guys plan out. You can do you could do both things, but the first is a very, very simple fix, which is if you don't have to worry about the environmental cooling of a body armor because you're going someplace very cold, you can, for lack of a better word, deactivate that option in the body armor and put in the mechanical, electrical, and power necessities to really optimize the heating unit in body armor, which could effectively double or triple its life. So instead of about 12 to 15 hours, now we're looking around 45 to 55 hours of continuous use before a danger of overheating begins. But as you continue to examine the variety types of body armor, which is significant, by the way, that you have collected on the Rhapsody, there might be an even better idea. Now, it's a little tricky. You'll have to take some practice at it, and it'll take a little bit of time to do. But the big thing with the body armor is that it's more of an issue of power. Unlike power armor that has its own nuclear reactor, these have smaller battery units that typically recharge as time goes by. If you could disperse both the power to areas of the body that require the most heat, and in fact, you might have to consult with a party member who is medically knowledgeable. Spoiler alert, Squee, roll me a D100.
Roll it.
Okay.
78.
That's your MD skill. Not your diagnose. Well, I guess technically your diagnosis.
All right. I think I fail by 8.
Okay, that's not very much. Although you don't know the exact details, you do know the areas, regardless of your skill check, you know the areas of the body where the blood vessels are closest to the skin and have the least amount of fat around that. That is the face, the neck, the armpits, the hands, and the groin. Now, if small localized heaters were placed in these areas, and you rerouted the heating unit to disperse the energy evenly and just heat those particular areas, that could potentially extend the heating unit for most body armors for weeks. And as it just so has it, you might have the perfect receptors without having to go out and buy something new and make it from scratch. If you may or may not recall, up in Mars, you came across giant bugs that infested the entire planet. And your party, and particularly Mila, found this strange yellow flower that had this pollen in it. And the folks from the network who supervised this whole operation made these small magnetic packs that you would attach to your body armor and would, from time to time, emit this pollen to deter these bugs from affecting you. Well, as it so happens, the Rhapsody still has about 50 of these units. These could be repurposed, rewired, and fit magnetically on the inside of the armor. And although it might pinch a little bit here, rub a little bit there, it wouldn't affect the person too much. And they could be converted to small heating units. Would that be something you would be interested in doing, or am I completely out of left field here?
Generally, yes. Though I would say Patrick would also be interested in, as most things within power armor and stuff like that, it has their own particular how do I put this?
Nuclear.
They have a whole bunch of little bits and pieces that they all do at once. If some of those were to be minimized or completely shut off, not like minimize like a window, but like lessen the effect.
Yeah.
Or shut off, the power could technically be rerouted to heating at crucial points.
So give me a moment. Let me just quickly open up the main book actually, I don't even need my main book. I just need my body armor list, because I put in all the features of that all body armor has. And we'll see if there's any features here that you'd be willing to deactivate of people's armor. Give me 2 seconds. And once again, this could save on power cells and prevent overheating. Give me just 2 seconds. Okay, so all body armor, with the exception of like light armor, all fully environmentally sealed armor has a life support system. So that's never mind. There's subsystems to that. Cooling and temperature control, air circulation systems, gas filtration, and a humidifier, an independent oxygen supply and purge system that supplies 5 hours of oxygen. The shielding is a part of the armor, from radiation to actual fires, literal fires. There's the built-in loudspeaker, I'm sure you could maybe take out of. There's also the short-range radio. And there's the wrist mini computer, a multi-purpose miniature computer that displays and indicates systems errors within the armor, damage levels, oxygen supply, as well as a directional compass, time, and day.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that does sound rather important.
Though
I think there was like one thing that I was like, I'm not quite sure if entirely we're going to
gas filtration, humidifier.
Yeah, the gas filtration one.
Okay.
Which it is important, definitely. I don't want it like permanently shut off, but it could be a subsystem that we could shut off
temporarily for the expedition.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would prolong the life of at least 10%. So it would add in probably a good another 5-6 hours, even more so if you tinkered with it further. But here's the other rub, that that might actually cross many of your minds. Now, I don't know all of your characters' backgrounds, but in this area that we're in, northern Michigan, which I can assume that some of your characters are very familiar with, there is such thing as winter, and water freezes over, and water has ice on lakes and rivers and ponds and all that good stuff. So it's fair to assume that up north there also is going to be frozen water, specifically frozen ice. Body armor is heavy. Not super heavy, but it adds in a significant amount of poundage. What will you do if someone breaks through the ice? So, Blink brings up the possibility that if we could find other ways to protect ourselves, perhaps body armor isn't necessary at all. We wear the proper warm clothes, therefore we don't have to worry about anything overheating, and we depend on our own wits and the Rhapsody. It's a suggestion, but it's something, although I don't want to nitpick this for the entire session, obviously, as far as cold weather environment goes, the most important thing is clothing. So I think you guys as a group should determine what route you want to go.
I do have a question.
Yeah, now at this point, it's like definitely Q&A. I can answer all sorts of stuff for you that your characters would know.
And we can just assume, like, if our characters don't know, you'll just say. So, questions would be, the behemoth, is it capable of such cold weather extreme conditions?
It is fully environmentally sealed and has a nuclear energy power. So as long as that power keeps on going and the heaters keep on working in the behemoth, it should be fine. Although if body armor is heavy, the behemoth will be extremely so.
Makes sense.
So as far as cold, no problem. Even if it fell in the ice, provided that shards of ice don't pierce its hull or anything underneath the water, like rock fragments would cause damage to it, it could even go underwater. It wouldn't be able to maneuver very well, but you wouldn't all plunge to a frozen death.
And we wouldn't have to worry about the exterior having issues. So, okay. Question number 2.
What do you mean about the exterior having issues?
Like, for example, in extreme cold weather, the ball bearings or joints might freeze over.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no,
okay.
You'd be fine for that.
This is kind of a two-parter. Are hover cycles have the same issue, same resistances, and do they push hard enough against ice to be an issue?
Yes, they. Okay. First and foremost, a robotic unit and a vehicle are a little bit different engineering wise.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if things will freeze up when it's that cold. Your characters just don't know. You don't have that experience, right? Or that mechanical know-how. It can, since it doesn't. Now, you do know that if it ran on gasoline or something liquid and required that through the engine, that could be problematic. Now, since this is all your hover cycles, I believe, or the ones that you might be using, are nuclear powered, that might be less of a problem with the whole ball bearings and moving and pistons and all that good stuff. But there could be mechanical failure with it being so cold and things freezing up. It's a possibility. As far as the propulsion, almost certainly. It's a heavy, think about it physics-wise, right? It has to diffuse enough energy to to propel a large a vehicle. That's probably weighing maybe just under a ton. Mm-hmm. So enough energy has to be pushed up against the ground so it can hover, right? So yeah, it'll be impactful for sure. It won't just glide like it's nothing.
Okay, and my last question would be, and I looked in the book and it doesn't say anything about it one way or the other. So my terrain hopper, does it have the capabilities to work underwater? Can it use its jetpack?
Yes, all power armor has the capability of working underwater. The question is how well it can swim. Since you have jet propulsions, you'd be probably able to be propelled through the water, no problem. Yeah, but it's possible for sure. So you wouldn't
Got it.
sink like a
So-
stone in that terrain power armor.
But not exactly a frog suit. Got it.
Exactly. Not designed for the water, but you're not helpless with it.
Okay.
The other thing is important to note. Your mystic power armor, Burn,
Yeah. It has no
has no
environmental
heating.
Yeah, I know. I this entire time I was thinking, shit. Two things, two very important things. One, that has no environmental, has none of the actual perks that body armor has, and two, Tom is naturally hotter, so it's easier for him to be colder.
Okay, yeah, I guess. I would argue that you'd be a little bit more resistant to the cold.
Yeah, I would agree because
you
your
have
body
a
produces
warmer
more
body
heat.
temperature, but
Maybe.
yeah, but
I was going off
but
you
you
could
could definitely roleplay
like,
of you not like being cold.
Yeah,
That's
he
for sure.
he definitely doesn't like being cold, and things that people would find comfortable, he finds a bit too cold. That kind of thing.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good roleplay.
So he would want to be in heavier, warmer clothes if we go that route.
Okay. So, what route do you guys want to go? Protective armor, or protective armor and being heavy and might have problems on the ice. Of course, there'll be options for you. Or no body armor and finding other ways to protect yourselves and just bundling up and being as light and dispersed as you can be.
Well, my body armor is 11 pounds. I'm pretty sure my cybernetic arm is somewhere around like 50 to 100. I can't find an exact number. It says
No,
the
there's
partial
no exact
conversion's
number. Well,
450.
I'll say it's probably another 10 pounds.
Okay. Well, in either case, 10 pounds armor ain't gonna make a lick of difference. So I'd prefer to have it
Yeah,
customized somehow.
my thoughts would be also, unless we can find a very reliable way to protect everyone from, out of game mechanic wise, mega damage without body armor, then we are taking huge risks being out in the wild like that.
Gigantic risks.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Actually, there is a way. There is a light mega damage thing. And that is something that we got really early on in that campaign. And I know they make armor out of this. And that is those Fury Beetle hides. Right?
True, but Basilisk would point out that those don't have any environmental protection. But you could bundle up, put some of the Fury Beetle hides underneath, and yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's definitely a possibility. Blink and August, out of all people, would also suggest that, when you guys were in Ishpeming and you were under fire, you guys cast magic to protect people.
True. You were going to say something, Piph, really quick?
Yeah, Piph, I was going to ask.
Yeah, I was going to say there's technology, psychic stuff, magic stuff.
I wonder.
Commonly force fields are used.
Not super common at this time period right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's magic field, but force fields, not so much.
Who out of our group can use psionics and magic? There's me, Patrick, Al.
Mia has some psionic powers, but not
enough to power up some Techno Wizard equipment.
No, enough to power up some Techno Wizard equipment. Yeah.
Okay, so there's the four of us. Blink can't. Bear can't.
Nope.
Ezex
can't. Basilisk can't. Zoe can't. Alicia can't. Julia can't. Well, Julia can. Victoria. Who the hell's Victoria?
Victoria Sandler. She came with us a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. I was confusing Zoe with Victoria. Sorry.
It was a deleted scene.
Deleted scene. Yeah, nice. Yasmin can't.
Okay.
Morgan can't. Marlis can't.
So the majority of us can't use magic apart from the four of us.
Well, if it's a innately magic item, then sure. But yeah, anything that's fueled by magical or psychic energy, no.
Yeah, because there are Techno Wizards that can imbue Armor of Ithin onto armor.
That
was my thought with that.
Yeah, my first thought with that would be, holy cow, that'd be expensive for the whole group.
Yep.
Second, Al would verify that Julia plans to come.
She had nowhere else to go. She might not come out on the actual expedition, but she's going to be aboard the Rhapsody.
Okay, well that's different because if she was coming with them, like on the ground, he would want to avoid magic if possible, at least for other people.
They haven't really. You haven't even decided an away party yet. This is kind of more how
Right.
protecting yourselves from the cold and the hostile environment.
So, I'm fine with magic, and I would like to look into magical spells because if nothing else, knowing something like that for emergency situations is just intelligent. But like I said, my number one priority above anything else is we have all been burned by not wearing armor outside in the world, and
Yes.
that would be concern number one. We need to make sure everyone is protected against highly damaging things.
And my concern is if we do rely on magic, then if we do get caught with our pants down, we're going to be spending like the first round just going armor before we do anything, and that's just worrying to me.
Sure.
So, unless anyone has any other ideas, I think body armor is going to be the way to go, at least at start.
Yeah.
And then use other things
Is that
as
the
backup.
consensus with everybody?
I
know it is for Lavin.
I can definitely say as the general group, yes, I think we would probably focus on that. I do personally have I have the magic armor, which, if I remember correctly, is fairly light and
You
pretty
mean your
close to
golden
skin.
armor?
Yeah.
That's not environmentally sealed.
No. But I could probably put a big fur coat over it.
Possible, yeah, sure. Yeah, it is scale armor, so you'd be heavy, but it's no big deal.
Well, yeah. The question: how heavy is your armor?
I'm not quite sure if we
This
actually...
armor, it's like scale medieval armor, so I'm thinking around 15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah. By the way, the gladiator.
I mean, when he wears it, he doesn't feel it because it becomes like a second skin to him. But that doesn't stop him being able to feel it. Doesn't mean it weighs less.
Yeah. I should also point out that the gladiator, which is the one we have like 8 or 9 copies of, is 21 pounds.
There you go.
I'm considering the terrain hopper for me only because it's 100 pounds, which is 5 times the body armor, but for power armor and its capabilities is very, very light. And if someone does fall through the ice, having the ability to go in after them would be useful.
I had an idea for that. It would have to be out of character. Actually, no, it could be in character because Tom has automotive mechanics. So, Inferno, are there still airbags in this timeline?
In vintage vehicles, yes, but it's not something that people put new in. No.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was thinking, like, well, if somebody falls through the ice, they could just pop an airbag, and that will try and float them to the surface if it's big enough.
Well, I suppose you could always get inflatable ones.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the general consensus is armor, I'll just leave it at that. You guys, then you'll definitely need. You guys don't want to go out and adventure for like 15 hours, right?
Yeah, we need shelter.
This is something. Well, yeah, shelter or a way of extending the environmental armor, right? And here's a tricky thing too: if you ever have to break camp away from the Rhapsody for whatever reason, it'll be very. I mean, it'll be a night or two. I guess you could handle it, sleeping in your armor. But you are just so cards are on the table, so no one is upset. You are going to be completely reliant on your armor to protect you from the cold.
Mostly, I'd still like to look into if there's magical spells or things of that nature available to us, but Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Great. Just as long as you're aware, there's no right answer. It's just I, as a GM, want to make sure you guys go into an adventure with your equipment and its pros and its cons and its advantages and its disadvantages with open eyes, so you can't say I tricked you. That's all.
Yeah, no, I understand
Okie
completely.
dokie. So, all right. Let's just narratively do this. Let's not kill too much of this session with shopping, because you know how much I hate doing that. So, what kind of let's just deal with the gear first, and then we'll deal with the teeth. Okay. So, what do you mean by hoping to get spells, Squee? Squee to help you with what?
Well, and honestly, this would probably just involve Al going into like a store or something of that nature, and simply explain. We're planning an expedition up north into the very cold regions. Are there perhaps any scrolls or spells of the kind that you could suggest to us that might aid us? From anything from shelter to emergencies to warmth, that kind of thing. And he would just mention that he's new to spellcraft.
As I mentioned before, in previous sessions, scrolls are relatively rare. Even in Tolkien, a lot of people are literate, but a lot of people in Tolkien are protective of their magic and their magic spells. That's not to say you can't be taught or scrolls can't be found, but it might be cheaper and easier to have someone teach you a spell rather than buying a scroll and learning it that way.
You did say that.
Now, I will give me just a moment, as I have to go through the spell list and see if there's anything that's applicable. So, exciting silence.
If only somebody had prestidigitation.
I know, only if I had that, eh?
I could clean things on a whim.
You can make things warm.
Yeah.
At will.
Yeah, though considering though it's a cantrip, I'm not sure that would count in sub-Arctic temperatures.
You can make warm food. Warm food is at some points parboiling. It's hot enough.
Yeah. Though considering the fact that in some places in the Earth world you could pee and it will freeze before it touches the ground, and your pee's at 98 degrees Fahrenheit, not sure how long it would stay warm.
I can't speak for. Well, I can actually definitely can't speak for Spyro, because he actually lived up north in Canada, not in the fucking Arctic, but in the Yukon territories, I believe. Is that right, Spyro? Okay, he's dead.
He's mooted.
He's clearly dead now. Anyways,
sorry, I was on mute. No, it was on Northwest Territories, not
Northwest
Yukon.
Territories. There gets temperatures where it will freeze human flesh within minutes.
Yep, I have a numb patch on my leg. Pretty sure
because of that?
But I think so, yeah.
Sweet, you're gonna love this adventure.
Memories.
It's like going back home, except you never left. Also, it's fake. See, here's the thing. There's a level 3 spell called Impervious to Fire, and there is no Impervious to Cold, but then I have to think, why isn't there an Impervious to Cold? Why can't it just be like Impervious to Fire, but substitute fire with cold and have the exact same effects? I'm sure it's in some other source book somewhere, maybe in the Canada book or Russian books, perhaps. But we're going to say, for the sake of simplicity, there is a warlock or witch or a ley line walker or not warlock or witch, sorry, a ley line walker or a mystic, or maybe even a techno wizard who would know this spell, Impervious to Cold, we'll call it. And let me give you the details of it. The range, yourself or others, up to 60 feet away. But the duration is interesting. It's only 5 minutes per level of experience. There's no saving throw, and it costs a mere 5 PPE. A magical invocation that makes the individual temporary or impervious to cold. Normal and magical cold does no damage to the person or to anything they are wearing or is in their possession.
That sounds incredibly useful.
Okay, so if that's something that you want to learn, you can find someone who's willing to teach you for 15,000 credits.
Real quick as I pull up our risk group loot to look at our funds. Would we get any sort of group discount if, like, Patrick and I learn together?
Nope. No discounts, says
Patrick,
the teacher.
you
thumping
want to
a-
learn it with me?
If we're spending the time, absolutely.
I think it would be wise. How long would it take to teach us?
3 days.
I think
Obviously
that would
not
be wise.
like 72 hours straight, but
Mhm.
3 8-hour sessions.
Yeah, I personally think it's worth it. If nothing else, as a holy crap emergency cast
Yeah.
spell thing.
It can be really handy. Okay, all right. So that's some magic pushed to one side. Now let's talk about wilderness gear real quick. I'll put forward some of the basics, like fur warm clothing. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go warm clothing from toques or knitted caps and hoods all the way down to insulated boots. Sound good? A full, for lack of a better word, winter exploration outfit. And Tolkien, of course, is in northern Minnesota, so they are also familiar with the cold. So it's not like, you're down in Florida and they'll be like, we don't have this. We don't know what you're talking about. And what's interesting is that since this is spring, kind of all the older, I guess you could say, items that were made last year or a few years ago, very similar to today. Certain fashion stores want to liquidate their inventory. So this is actually a relatively good time, and you'll be able to get full outfits for how many people? 12 people? 6 people? 8 people? It's going to cost, like I said, this is full outfit, top of the line gear. It's going to cost 500 credits a person a head.
I think it'd be worth having a few. This is STC clothing, right?
Yes,
Zero
this
easy.
is not
Yeah.
MDC. This is
Right.
just clothing.
Yeah.
Warm winter clothing.
It might not be a bad idea, even if we're wearing body armor, to take like a couple backpacks with this stuff.
Okay.
Because you
Yeah,
just
That would
never
add to
know.
the weight, but sure, it's handy.
Like, in case we do want to actually make camp, then we can actually make camp and get into the warm weather gear and camp down if needed.
Yeah, because like Inferno
Speaking
told
of
us,
camp, you can also get special camping supply gear for cold weather as well.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, it's been a really long time since it's become an issue, but I think you told us once, like, let's say we had to camp overnight or a few days.
Sure.
You don't sleep in your body armor, and if you tried to, it might be...
It's extremely. It'd be very uncomfortable, and you will get some penalties to combat the next day.
Yeah,
because you're all
you
stiff
wake
and
up
sore.
with like sores and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So,
and
yeah, it'd be worth
cramps
having.
and yeah.
And you know what? As far as the weight issue goes, maybe we could have sleds or something to help disperse the weight, so it's not all on my back or your back or something. It's in a sled.
Okay. I just thought of something. I hate to break anything, but I do have
Okay.
a pack that sends us to another place.
Oh yeah.
That's true. What's
Shit.
the temperature like in the Golden Mansion?
Once every day, though. Once every 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when we want to sleep,
But yes, you do have a backpack that sends you to another place. God damn it! Why did you fucking Monty Hall GM?
Yeah, but no, still there is a good point there. Even if let's say we go there, we spend 8 hours, we literally cannot use it again for another 24 hours.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we couldn't use it in an emergency, but we can just use it for sleeping.
Well, no, I mean that's what I'm saying. We couldn't though. Not really. Not every day.
In other words, it might be best to save it for an emergency.
Right.
Because
Still
like
prepare for a winter journey.
if you think about it, we use it for one night and we spend 8 hours in there and then we leave the next morning. We can't use it again until the next morning.
It depends on if the cooldown starts when we exit or when it's used.
True. That actually
Because
does
if it's
matter.
when it's used, then you could do that. If it's when it's exited, then you can't.
I believe it is. I don't know entirely what it would be noted on, but it might be called to the user of it when that person leaves.
Yeah,
because you can put
Yeah.
like other people, things, anything in there. But I'm assuming there's some sort of limitation on that.
Yeah, because I mean, otherwise you could stay in there 24 hours, step out, and step right back in.
Yeah, yeah. It's attuned to the user, the person who uses the backpack.
Oh, well, shit.
So yeah, so we could use it like every other day.
Okay,
Or-
guys, how about this? How about I streamline things a little bit for you, just so we're not talking about this for the next hour? Okay.
Yeah.
How about this? You guys let me know, just in very general terms, what you want, right? Like camping supplies and high protein food and warm winter clothing.
Okay.
Enough for X amount of people, and I'll give you a price, and we can just move on. Sound fair?
Yeah,
It does sound fair.
I'm throwing it down. Hold on. Camping supplies and warm weather clothes for 20 people. Let's just go all out. 20 people,
20?
just in case.
That's
Too much? Should we
3
dial it back?
times plus.
You have you five, the main player characters. I'm literally counting my fingers. Morgan McLaughlin, Zoe Wedgwood, Marla Stotch, Basilisk, Yasmin. That's 10. Ezex, Jalea, Bear, Alicia, Blink, and August. That's 16 people.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, so that's 4 spares. Actually,
Okay,
now that I think about it, that's not.
fine.
Should
Yeah,
we
25.
You guys
should we fucking dial it back then, or
Don't you?
should we go with
No,
20?
no. I think having 4 spares is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's going, but
No, very likely not everybody's going to go. But if you want, we can determine exactly how many are going to go on the expedition and just go for them. Or we can make sure everybody's supplied, and just in case a need arises and they need to come meet us, then they are still supplied as well.
I'm going to
Right.
take
I
a
like
stab
that.
in the dark and suggest that camping supplies probably cost pretty much F all in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Right.
And these are just
Yeah.
warm weather clothes.
Yeah, I'm fine with getting 20, having the 4
Yeah.
spares, and nothing says maybe we can't sell some off later when we're done, at lesser for price, but still.
Or
Slightly used, been to Arctic and back, has story attached to it.
or
No,
hey,
also used, properly tested.
properly tested. Haha.
Nice, I like it. I
Um,
like it.
We could also, at the very least, keep it around just like we did with the gladiators, just in case we do go into another cold weather situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm fine with 20 suits.
So 20
Okay,
pairs.
20 suits and camping supplies enough to sustain 16 people. So it'll probably be,
4
20
tents or
tents,
something like that.
yeah, 4 tents or whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
regardless. I'm mathing it in my brain. Anything else that you guys think you might need? Squee talked about a sled, snowshoes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
miscellaneous
definitely.
things like that.
I
Yeah.
think dispersion of weight is good. Snowshoes.
Dispersion of weight
definitely.
is good, yes.
Okay, snowshoes, good. Okay, snowshoes for 20 people, great.
Mhm. Sleds
Okay.
to carry the supplies and all of that behind us.
Yeah.
Let's try and make sure that we get... You were mentioning high protein food?
Yeah, high protein food, because Bear himself would mention that, in fact, other than warming yourselves up, the most dangerous thing about traveling, especially long distances in winter climates, he says this in Bear's voice, if I'm not going to, is exhaustion.
Yes.
It's exhaustion. So it's important to have food that has high fats and proteins in it, high caloric impact, so your body doesn't waste away while you're hiking through all this snow, because it could be waist deep, it could be rocky ice, it could take quite a bit of effort.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, high protein food enough for, we'll say, 2 weeks supply.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how about, here's another suggestion that you would get. For lack of a better word, antifreeze and de-icer and other such things for mechanical vehicles. Something that could be something that you either spray on to protect, or special fluids that are used that can go against very, very cold temperatures, that sort of thing.
I think it would be a very good idea, although I'm honestly wondering, other than the terrain hopper, what else we are bringing.
Terrain
Yeah.
hopper would require one. Okay, all right, guys,
Yeah.
think about that real quick.
Yeah, I'm not sure, especially how we are concerned about weight. I'm not sure taking any vehicle is a wise idea. We
Okay.
might actually be
Yeah.
hiking this.
We do need to have something pulling Slay, though.
Don't hook
Someone
Bear
in
up to it.
power
He's not
armor?
going to do it. Or Ezex.
I think your
Someone-
power armor might be fine for such
Yeah,
things.
Yeah, so
someone
power
in
armor
power
would be
armor
it.
might
Yeah.
work.
Okay. All right. Okay. So no need for the antifreeze. Okay, that's fine. That's good. I want to
Well-
suggested those.
I would think that maybe some, but not a lot.
Right,
Okay.
because who knows, we might come across something that might need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say enough for 2 vehicles worth,
Sure.
just in case.
And
Okay.
one last thing I would like to ask real quick. This may be a thing that we can work with or not. If we are going to be traveling for a few days, we might be away from the Rhapsody or the Behemoth. Is there any sort of way of taking a more portable med lab or something better than my trauma kit, but still able to be moved in case
No.
of severe injuries?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Your trauma kit is pretty darn extensive.
True.
And a portable lab, I guess you could put that in the sleigh, but then there'd be very little room for anything else.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Like you said, it's pretty extensive, so I'm fine.
Well,
with that.
hold up a second. I think there is a thing that is literally a portable. I know there's a portable lab. Let me just see if there's a portable med station before I say no completely. This will take just 2 seconds for me to look.
Sure.
Man, I'm glad I'm a giant fucking lonely nerd because I listed a bunch of stuff that is from combined a bunch of source books, so I don't have to go through a bunch of stuff. Yeah, there's a portable laboratory, but that's literally a laboratory.
The only thing that is close is portable bioscan, I think.
Yeah, and the Compu drug dispenser, which is just this fancy 48 method of shooting drugs into you.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
no,
fine.
the answer
I have
is
the
yeah.
trauma kit. That should be fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a
Okie
medical
dokie.
stretcher then. Something that we just fold up and put on the sled.
Sure.
And then I'd be good.
You mean, like a little stretcher? Okay, great.
Yeah, like
Let
a-
me add
yeah.
that in real quick. Cost you like 100 more. Okay. All right, we're all good. So just for the record, in case I forget or something like that, okay? You guys have enough for 20 people, both camping supplies and clothing, warm winter clothing. You have 2 vehicles worth of antifreeze and freezing resistant supplies. You have 2 weeks worth of high protein, high fat foods, which is mostly probably going to be dried meats and nuts and such things like that. And a sled and a stretcher. Good. 4,300 credits.
Okay.
And then
much-
boom! In 10 minutes, we figured it all out. Aren't we wonderful?
Boom.
So,
boom.
How
Done.
much of that do you guys
actually,
want me to pay?
Burn, if you could knock a 30,000 off that as well.
Oh. Okay.
Well, if you want to do even Steven, since you would be literally be doing a 16th of this, Lavin, yours would come to 270 credits.
And that's on top of the 500 for the winter clothes, right?
No, that's including the winter clothes, actually. That's on top of the 500 for the winter clothes, yeah.
Okay.
I guess when you buy shit in bulk, it gets a little bit cheaper, but yeah. So we'll make it even 750.
Okay.
Which means, I guess you can just add 750 to the group if you've already taken it away. If you haven't, and if I add in the 30,000,
I've already taken it away.
oh, you've figured it out. Okay, great. No, that's good. Fantastic.
Burn's on top of it.
He kind of is. He kind of always is, which is good. Okay. So, now with that out of the way, the question remains with our good friends, the Chattering Teeth. So, give me a moment. I'm going to whisk us all the way to the Tolkien map. No, I didn't archive it because I'm like, they might go there. And I was right. Check out the big brain on Inferno. Since this is just a quick pit stop, I'm not going to explain Tolkien and all this good stuff, even though Lavin's never been. I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind. I hope this doesn't
No, that's
unenrich
fine.
your experience. Okay, that's good. And give me a moment as I look up the Tolkien areas of interests and kind of give you a very short list of who might be interested in this fucking bananas ass thing. Tolkien guide. Oh,
Wait,
is
Lemon,
that
you've been
on-
here once before.
Yep.
Oh yeah, never mind. I lied. Because you went to pick up Ezex.
Yep.
Okay. University of Transdimensional Studies would definitely be interested in that. Let's see anyone else who might be interested in that. No.
It's almost like they were made for that kind of thing.
Well, they were made for something. Spoiler alert, it's chewing.
Oh no, I meant the University of Transdimensional Studies.
Oh, I know. They were also made for chewing.
16 different classes on it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Also, the Riverbend Sorcerers Compound would be very interested in that. Ooh. Also, a certain powerful mage named Colecatch would be interested in that. You know what? That's enough for me. So, it's in threes. Everyone loves threes. So, let me give you a little bit of background information. Once again, we're doing this very narratively speaking. Okay. So, when you guys did spend your time in Tolkien, I believe it was Tom, actually, who was looking at the University of Transdimensional Studies and being enrolled in there. So, thanks to Tom. Well, just a moment. Yes, Patrick.
I'm going to throw a curveball.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw it.
Fourth option.
Forethought?
Yeah.
Fourth
Fourth
option.
option.
Oh, fourth option. Okay. I thought you said fourth thought. Oh, I get it now. All right. Never mind. I need more beer. Continue.
The group of the Golden Place.
Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking
fuck
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah, yeah, they would.
Fuck yes, of course. Yeah, the Society of the Golden Places. Yeah.
I haven't checked in with them in too long. I think this might be nice for them, even though it might be not as
This might be
beneficial
fucking
as the other
perfect
ones.
for them.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna We'll take a small bathroom break. I'm gonna grab myself a beer, and we're going to. I'm gonna set up a scene in regards to this. Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Hey guys, sorry, haven't been by in a while, but I have some dentures you're gonna love.
Dude, check this shit out.
Dude.
What were they called? Like it's like the
Yeah, no, I was thinking the exact same thing. I couldn't think of it.
House of the
I
Golden
remember-
Places.
House of the Golden Places. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh,
problem.
I'd like to take this opportunity to let everyone viewing and otherwise know Babylon 5, probably one of the best damn television shows ever made, is now streaming for free.
Really?
Squee.
Yeah.
Really? Where?
It's a website called... Hang on, I'll find it for you real quick.
None of your
Yes,
goddamn business.com.
Wow,
Yes,
Piph.
Piph.
Jeez.
Go90. Go90.com.
All right.
Apparently, it's like a Netflix type site, but for some reason, they're streaming Babylon 5 with no commercials, no account needed, nothing like that.
Neat.
Who is what? Huh? Babylon 5?
Babylon 5 is now streaming online for free on Go90.
What's Go 90?
It's like a Netflix type place, but I don't know why, for some reason, Babylon 5 is completely free, commercial free, don't need an account, you just go.
Go 90 mobile TV network is only available in the U.S. right now.
Well, poop.
GG.
I'm sorry.
Lame.
You did this to me.
Yeah.
I take back everything I said.
It's okay. I freaking pirated all of Babylon 5.
Such a damn good show. Well, I don't have blame him. I mean, really,
Yeah.
until now, how else are you going to get it?
I hardly pirate
fizzy
anything,
lifting
I'll
drink.
be honest, but I did pirate Babylon 5.
Don't steal it from people. Wink. We're alive. Don't say that shit.
Oh yeah, right, sorry.
This is being recorded and will be on the internet. We've
Oh, thank
not
you,
done
guys.
any illegal activities. No.
I'm glad you guys in the chat are enjoying it. However, episode 2 of the Crimson Throne might be a week or so because I need audio from my sister and she is not in the country. So
Oh, well.
yeah, the audio she sent me for some reason was 4 gigabytes large and 11 minutes long.
Wow, that is
Okay.
impressive.
Isn't it?
That's a seriously high bit rate.
I went to start editing the episode. I'm like, that's
Did you record a video? What the hell happened?
might have.
No, it just got corrupted somehow. There's only 11 minutes of audio, and I was like, "Could you send me your audio again?" She's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Leaves country.
Hopefully she has it.
Runs.
She does. She said she has it. Yeah. She says, and I quote, "Sure, I have it. We'll send it to you. Get some sleep!" Exclamation point.
Well,
Huh.
you probably sent that to her when you were, like, staying up at, like, 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah, and she is my older sister, so she does that
Yeah.
a lot. Except when we play when the tables are turned. Spiral's going to be back in a year. Like, her character keeps dying. It's really weird.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, no. Curse of the Crimson Throne is going to take years to complete. It's a very, very long, intricate adventure, for sure.
Fish.
For shizzle.
Oh my god. That reminds me of the module Piph Jay and I did on Saturday. That was really fun.
Yeah.
We did a 5th edition module.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I also saw Jay's comment on it where he's like, in foresight, in afterthought, what Piph did shouldn't have been impossible. But also on note, as a GM, I don't care.
It actually was possible. I think I just did one minor action too much to be actually.
Still, I just love that.
One, right?
As a GM, no, I don't think it was the Goblins one.
It was the one where I was a gnome.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about. I guess
No,
No,
I
it
was
was a
talking
different
about-
one.
Yeah.
Oh. I just like that. It should be possible, but as a GM, I don't care because it was awesome.
Yeah, there was like a whole bunch of minor rules to all the things that I did that I like technically couldn't. He's just like, that's bullshit. You should be fine.
Yeah.
Like in actuality, I definitely could do that, but the freaking stars had to align, and I had to have like a whole bunch of different effects happen to make sure that like that also kept going. Like technically, since I hit 0, I would be unconscious, but since I didn't interrupt action, I wouldn't be unconscious, but that might sever the connection anyway.
Got it. Yeah. Hi, Inferno. Welcome
Okie
back.
dokie. Everyone's back from the bathroom break.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody left.
Hmm.
We were just chilling.
Fair enough. Then I just went to the washroom and collected myself and got myself a new beer.
Good.
So now that I have my inspiration juice, let's rock and roll party time.
Ooh.
So, on the streets of Tolkien, Patrick, you're right. It's been a while since you've met anyone of your enigmatic society that you were part of, the House of the Golden Places, an institution that is an ultra-secret society that doesn't have an official listing here in the free city of Tolkien, which is rife with societies that specialize in going out to the undiscovered, unearthed, and sometimes dangerous places of the world to find artifacts of great power, to deepen understanding and, in another sense, protecting the world. They also have a tendency to really... Oh, wait a second. I have the symbol right here. Give me a moment. I was looking through my tokens today, and I came across it again. So I thought I would get it. Sorry, as I just break my fucking train of thought. Give me a moment. There it is. Come on. Load. Can you guys hear me?
Yay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Boop.
You're still
They
on.
also have a symbol that they typically like to use, and in order to attract other members of their group, they have a secret kind of handshake, for lack of a better word, but they also like to keep this symbol, they like to hide it in plain sight. Lavin, you and Alicia saw this symbol when the person who sent you out on this quest had this symbol on his nearby his desk when he was recording his last will and testament. But sure enough, venturing through Tolkien, buying winter supplies, and going to a proper teacher for those spells, actually, almost all the players would be at least generally familiar with this symbol. And at least Patrick, Al, and Tom, would be aware of its significance, right?
Uh-huh.
So then, you know what? Let's not just say it was Patrick who found it out. Each of you roll me a d20. The highest finds the symbol first.
Ah.
Go treasure hunting them.
Al, you noticed in the eastern quadrant of the city, when you're coming back from your one of your lessons to learn that new protection from cold spell, is on the sewer grate is this symbol. And what's really interesting is the sewer grate that you pass by again has that symbol. It's faced in a different direction. And sure enough, there's a third one that you come across. Once again, it's faced in a different direction than the other two, but it's definitely that symbol.
Does it appear like maybe they're trying to point a direction?
It does appear like they're trying to point in direction. In particular, that little cross on the bottom seems to be the pointing of it. And sure enough, if you... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I think before trying to make contact or anything, Al would more get Patrick first, because it's Patrick's is the only one really that's part of the order.
Oh,
so he would get Patrick and he'd be like, Patrick, I think I found them.
Found who?
The order, the guys that you're friends with. They gave you the golden room.
Oh yeah. Wait, did they contact you?
No, I found their symbols. You were thinking about giving them the teeth, right?
Yeah,
I think here, come. Better if I show you. And
Okay.
then Al would show him.
Okie dokie.
From
So
my
now is it just gonna be Al and
brilliant
Patrick?
deduction, they seem to be pointing in a direction. What do you think,
Oh.
Albred?
Yes, I think so. Clearly, they are pointing a direction.
I like our little time together, by the way. You should probably go.
Al goes.
So is it just Al and Patrick during this adventure, or are we going to throw in any other player involved here, too?
We
No,
forgot
Al's-
Lavin.
Actually, that's a good question. We know that Patrick is the only one that's a member of this group. Should he go alone, or?
You don't know.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm asking like the other players. Like, do you think? Because I'm fine with letting Patrick go by himself. I don't want to insult this group or anything.
Yeah. I mean, he's just going to make an exchange, right? I don't see any reason I would need to be there.
Yeah,
Okie
so
dokie.
unless
All
Patrick asks us to, we let him go.
Yay.
All right. Oh, okie dokie. Then will this be a fun little scene with Patrick then? Patrick, in the mid-afternoon, we'll say it's around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a little overcast. It was drizzling rain earlier on in the morning, but now it's kind of cleared up. You follow from street to street following these symbols, and it takes you deep into a residential area, a well-off residential area, as it happens to be. Large 2, sometimes 3-story houses, large estates of a modern design with full gardens and what it looks like individuals who take significant, or at least hire people, to take very good care of their property. Also, interestingly enough, this sector has Tolkien itself has quite a bit of techno wizardry involved, but it completely dominates these blocks that you wander through. Everything is powered by techno wizardry or some sort of mystic generator. And sure enough, the final sewer grate points directly towards a house. It is quite a large estate. It's a two-story house that has what appears to be a two-door garage, a wonderful sweeping entranceway, and it stands out a little bit from the other houses because some of them are built mostly by wood and stone, but this one seems to be almost chiseled out of marble. Large marble pillars flank the entranceway, and this big, bright red, what appears to be stone door lies before you. There doesn't appear to be any sort of bell or knocking mechanism.
Patrick, I guess it would examine what he thinks would be the door.
Okay, yeah, it's a big stone slab that you're assuming is the door. There seems to be some golden etching down one side of it, the right-hand flank, where a doorknob normally would be. It seems to be in 3 simple words, and they do read in Draconic, which, as you can see, is a simple modified alarm spell. If one were to touch those words on the door, it would assumedly send some sort of alarm or something to whomever cast it.
Patrick would do the appropriate, I'm assuming, 3-pronged touch to this.
Yeah, you reach out with your fingers, touching each of them, and sure enough, you feel a little buzz in your fingertips, and a simple light sound of bells and chimes rings throughout the entire house, as loud as if it were emitted by large speakers throughout the entire estate. Sure enough, you hear heavy footfalls coming through this stone door, and it opens up with a swing. And as you stand there agape at the owner, you see it is clearly not human. It is a DB. I'll point your direction towards the top left-hand corner of this Free City of Tolkien estate, right to the left of the little symbol there. And that is the DB in question, with this large protuberance as a nose, yellow slitted eyes. Its skin is a rubbery gray with these strong yellow, kind of chitinous scales along its chest, arms, and upper legs. It has what appears to be 3 thick fingers, three thick toes. And interestingly enough, it has this strange fashion custom. Clearly it has something protecting its lower body. It seems like some sort of tribal belt. But along its wrists, its long wrists, are these big flowing ribbons, colored at this point a bright baby blue. The individual stares at you for a moment, and it lifts its little nose protuberance, and you see a very, very small mouth. And it says, yes, how can I help you?
Patrick pulls his gaze from looking at his everything.
Oh, and by the way, he's 7 feet tall.
All right.
I forgot to add.
And Patrick looks up and goes, "Oh yes." He paused for a moment, realizing that he doesn't have any particular way of greeting other than he has no idea how to greet a secret society, so he he fumbles for a bit and then tries to do the hand gesture that usually is for the society.
It watches you fumble for a little bit, and its eyes narrow slightly, but after a few moments, it begins to figure out what you're trying to do. He mimics the hand gesture. Thankfully, the gesture is utilized for individuals who have any number of digits on their hands.
Mhm.
And as the gesture comes up, you can see its front little protuberance, its nose kind of wiggle back and forth in front of it. And it says in a cheery tone, "Oh, how wonderful. I haven't met someone else in the society for at least 8 months. Yes. Well, as one member to another, please enter my estate. I'm sure we have much to talk about."
Patrick nods excitedly
Mhm.
and comes on in when
And
gesturing.
he invites you in, and this entire place, very similar to the exterior, seems to be completely carved from almost a single piece of marble or granite. Now, obviously, that might not be the case, but the way everything fuses together is quite phenomenal. And it's not just simple dull whites and off whites and grays. Much of this stone has either been dyed or is colored stone, and as you get deeper into the house, more vibrant colors come out: emerald greens and sky blues and deep royal purples. And he takes you into what you're assuming is a sitting area. He says, "Please make yourself comfortable." He says this with no irony in his voice, but sure enough, the words are indeed ironic, because the three chairs and large couch that are there also seem to be made of pure rock, with absolutely no cushions or anything else above it. It sits itself in a large throne-like seat directly across from you and happily gestures down. He says, "How long have you been walking? I'm glad you noticed my little signs. I had those installed about about a year and a half ago, and so far it's been very beneficial."
I should probably think of doing similar things.
Yes, yes, yes. As long as you don't make it too obvious, of course. We don't want too many prying eyes into our own society. But please, as one is invited into the home of another member of the Golden Place, how can I be of assistance? Do you require any sort of knowledge or information from me, or are you looking simply to trade tales?
Oh, I suppose I do need information. More of a I guess maybe suggestion or I'll
Oh
say
my
what my
goodness.
particular situation is. I have come across.
Understood, but first, I am so sorry. I am still relatively new to this dimension, to this planet, and I forgot. My people typically do not exchange titles or names beforehand, but I believe that is a custom that you human beings enjoy, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Very well. You may call me Defla.
Defla.
Defla, yes. And your name title might be?
Oh, I am I'm Patrick.
Ah, Patrick. Okay. Yes. All right. Sorry. Please. So what assistance can I provide?
Um, yes, I'm in possession of. Let me start at the beginning. During
Hmm.
some time that I was near a ley line nexus, a portal has
Hmm.
opened, uh,
I see.
and a very interesting event occurred. A man, seemingly cackling or uh, laughing hard, is it's hard to describe, but almost a constant stream of what it seemed to be laughter coming
When
from
you say
him.
man, you mean human? One of your species.
Patrick thinks for a moment. At least human shaped. I don't think I got the closest look at him.
I see. I see. Please continue.
And an absolute teeming bed of what I have found to be clacking teeth with feet.
It says as it wiggles its nose up and down this time. What were these teeth attached to? You said feet.
Yes, it was a set of artificially made gums. I haven't really seen the rest of it, but it seemed to be attached. The feet were attached to its gum section of the teeth. It seemed
Most
human.
peculiar. You are correct. I mean, we of my species do not have teeth, but I'm understanding most dental units are inside a greater organism. They do not exist outside themselves. Magic obviously is afoot there.
Yes, I should note of a human teeth. It wasn't any sort
Ah.
of. Yes. And these things seem to gnaw through most things, including what I've seen of magical nets, which seem to have a fairly high strength to them.
So they were at least susceptible or contained by magic. All right. Is that where the story ends?
Well, they seem to be of a, from what I've done small research on, it seems to be of a particular class of magic, jester magic. I only briefly would assume that it's part of such things, and these beings, or it seems to just be of just a magical construct, they're still around. We've captured them, and it's been a few days.
They have not dissipated.
No.
You've taken them far away from the nexus point?
Yes.
They're away from their own dimension.
Of at least that portal, absolutely.
And yet they still persist. And you say it is of this jester magic, trickery, that sort of realm, yes?
Yes.
I must admit, I myself have only heard rumors of this type of magic, but if it is persistent, as you say, there might be some significant potentials to that. I imagine quite a few individuals would be happy to write a treaty on it. Or two.
A treaty.
Yes, a treaty. A large, well, I guess you could say, educational paper. I apologize. I've now been in Tolkien for far too long. The academics, you understand, typically enjoy writing these long essays, these long, meandering bits of words on paper that analyzes anything from the scientifical to the mystical.
Oh. Research papers, yes.
Yes, I suppose that's another way of calling it. Yes.
I am a bit of a loss for what to do with them. I thought it might be best to, because they seem to not be of how do I put this? They seem to gnaw on anything without particular any rhyme or reason. It seemed dangerous to keep them to have them released.
I see. Are they sentient?
They at least they seem to have at least followed one of my companions, so they have to be at least somewhat of sense.
Yes, but that's a high difference than having one's own thoughts and understanding one as an individual, so to speak. Regardless, I see. So you've come to me for advice in regards to what to do with such a thing.
Yes.
As members of our order, I understand that this is not something you would want to travel around with all the time, and you do not, I imagine, have time for individual study yourself, or perhaps the interest or means?
We are currently on another expedition fairly soon.
An expedition. Wonderful. I'm going off on my own in about 6 months. I'm making final preparations and waiting for a few other members of the house to join me. It will be grand. However, in the meantime, perhaps I can suggest upon you a partnership. Well, what would you say to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, wonderful. Oh, well, then let me propose this. You render these objects onto my care until your expedition is finished. In the meantime, I'll ensure their relative safety and take exquisite and particular notes in case they happen to disappear. The magic dissipates out of these constructs. If they do not, however, they will stay here, safe, within my estate, or at least a place where they can be contained. I do have quite a few contacts in and out of the society itself that would be interested in such a things. I know at least 3 professors at the Institute of Dimensional Technology and Research. In addition, a few of the more esoteric orders around here would also be interested. All these individuals, of course, would be trusted enough to simply observe and not try to obtain or steal such things. I will keep them in safekeeping, taking my notes. In exchange, I only ask that the notes that I make and the revelations I find out, obviously, I will share freely with yourselves and other members of the society. But as far as the outside world goes, I may publish them at some point. If you're comfortable with that, I think we should have ourselves a fine partnership.
More than comfortable. I should warn, they seem to, as much as I've checked, not tire, as most magical constructs probably wouldn't, but I just wanted to make that clear.
Yes, of course, of course. Well, let's make arrangements to bring these little beings into my care, and well, we'll go from there. And with that, I'm good to end the scene if you're okay with that.
Yes.
Okay, and Defla will then accompany you, obviously not to the Rhapsody, that would be insane, but to wherever you might drop off this large container that has such a things. And he would hum and haw, and then make preparations at his home to contain such a thing. He would ask, of course, if he could keep the container as a kind of a backup receptacle in case they can't be contained in any other way.
Patrick would definitely say during the duration to during the time where he is away, absolutely, but he would if whenever these things are resolved, yes, to have it back.
That's fine. He's very comfortable with that. And with that, he'll take it out of your possession, make yourself deals and your partners, maybe exchange a few tales of his own, places that he's been, which we can kind of add to your general lore, and they might come up, in the future. Mm-hmm. And with that, I'm good to wrap that up if you are.
Yes.
Delightful. All right. So the chattering teeth and the winter clothing have been taken over with. Now, during this time as well, August has been meticulously planning 3 possible routes to this area in the north. Now, I would like each of you players to roll me a D100, please. No modifiers. This is kind of a unique skill.
96. Woo!
My God, high roller.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. You rolled it out, even though that's not how that digital dice work. Now, we're going to have to use our imagination. And those little 3, if you can see over in that map of drawing Earth, imagine the points that are here have moved over to here. But in general, it's still pretty much the same, because I had no idea you guys would be launching from freaking Tolkien. How could I? I do not have predestination.
Over here.
Mm-hmm. But August and several other August, Marlis, Blink, and Zoe Wedgwood have all kind of conferred, put their heads together, and try to figure out, since you guys are interested in doing this and they're willing to come along and obviously support and help out and however they can, have pretty much mapped out 3 potential routes. So I'll go through the pros and cons of each so you guys can make a decision. Sound fair?
Yes.
Now, all of these follow the curvature of the Earth, so it is optimal flight paths for the Rhapsody. So, the orange route. Big pro is that this is definitely the fastest and most direct route that has less time in the sky to track any possible attention from those who are up in orbit or maybe possible flying monstrosities. The only cons is that Marlis does have experience. The furthest north he has ever been is towards the boreal forest. So approximately here in the old Canadian Empire. But
we can't see those.
oh
we
yeah,
can't see them.
I'm in the wrong thingy. Okay, here along the old Canadian Empire, the boreal forest stretches a very long way, but this about is as far north he's ever been.
Okay.
And he does know that individuals from those neighborhoods do warn that in this particular body of water, this huge bay, which we know as Hudson's Bay, but the locals called H Bay, has a tendency to attract quite a bit of inclement weather. It's not obviously a guarantee, but it is possible, especially during these springtime months. A lot of storms, a lot of high winds, a lot of sleet, and other such rain. So there's the pros and cons for the orange route. The blue route is another pro. It's only 40 minutes longer than orange. And here's the significant advantage that Marlis has suggested. It'll allow them to stop off on this large island here. The one that in grade school I always pictured as an upside down dog.
I think it's Baffin Island, isn't it?
It is Baffin Island, actually. It's exactly Baffin Island. Unfortunately, in the post-apocalyptic world, they don't know what Baffin Island is anymore.
Oh,
It's now just known as a big island.
My bad.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And the big advantage to going with the blue route is that before reaching your destination, oh, wait a second. I had you all roll, and I didn't even tell you fucking why. Patrick, you all, like I said before, have a general feel about where this location is. And you have become so in tune with it that you're able to look at a map and course your eyes through it. And when your eyes hit a certain region, a general region, which is that big red circle up there, you get this kind of wiggle in your head, giving you this assurance that it might be around that location up north, which is why the NPCs are able to plan these routes for you.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the blue route. The big advantage is stopping off in this large island is that you could land there on something that might be secure and test out any capabilities that you might need to survive the winter conditions. That way, if you're in an emergency or in dire straits, at least you'll be more familiar with your gear, how your mechanisms work in the environment, how the body armor works in the environment, so on and so forth. Sound good? Sorry, do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
That's so dumb. Now, the only con is that they have no idea who or what lives on Baffin Island. It could be nothing, or it could be bad. Finally, the purple route. The purple route, the big pro on that is that it is the absolute safest in regards to weather and will allow more tactical options when you approach. You'll have a full gamut of going north and south, and you won't have to worry about storms stopping you or anything like that. The con is that this is the longest route, and the higher up in the air carries itself some risk as well. Do you have any questions about those routes?
Just one.
Mm-hmm.
When we say longer route, are we talking hours?
By 1 hour, exactly.
Okay, so I don't think time's a huge concern. I like being able to test things. That's good.
Yeah, I like that too. What do you think?
Does anyone not like testing things?
Well, we might want to get a visual of Baffin Island before we decide to actually land on it, depending on what's there.
Yeah, that
you
makes
could
sense.
definitely do a few passes over it. Sure.
That does make sense.
Okay. Okie dokie, artichoke. So it sounds like blue route is a go, correct?
I do believe so.
Yay!
Delightful.
Yep.
Delightful. So, if it's okay by you, I'm going to have you all get aboard the Rhapsody and narrate your journey on up. Sound good?
Do it.
We never did resolve what we're doing with the body armor, did we? I
No,
took a
not
quick AFK there,
particularly.
so-
Well, let's resolve that now. What do you want to do with the body armor, if anything?
You have to run the options really quickly by me again because there was 3 and I don't remember.
Option A is to leave it on its own, which is the potential of overheating the warming unit after 12 to 15 hours of use.
Mhm.
Option 2 is to cut off systems of the body armor to prolong the energy cells in the body armor. The easiest one to do is to cut off the cooling. But if you cut off the cooling and the gas filtration system, you can prolong it by at least double. So we're looking closer to around 30 to 50 hours before overheating. The third option is to create devices that focus the heating energy on certain areas of the human body that are more likely to become cold. This requires a little bit of tinkering work and some more time, but could prolong overheating the units overheating the body armor for perhaps 1 week for sure, probably 2 weeks maybe. It all depends on how well Piph rolls, pretty much.
What
But
if we
it
were?
extends it up to a week.
What if we were to combine options 2 and 3?
Combining options 2 and 3 would be a guaranteed 2 weeks and possibly more, depending on the engineering of it.
We're not going to need to go a week without going back. That would be like dire straits, I would think. So I would think
That's
we
true.
just do option number 3.
Sure.
Because a week's a long time, man.
Yeah, a week is a long
It
time.
is.
I will
that
say
is-
that this is tinkering with armor, so a few things might happen, like if things go wrong, it might malfunction. This is not already pre-built in, like pre-bought armor and all that other stuff. As well as if I do modify the armor, it is now modified armor and I have to unmodify it later. That is those things.
I'm fine with that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Roll it, make it harder by 10, Piph, and let me know how much you succeed or fail by. Mechanical engineer.
Okay. Yep.
Actually, this is a combination of mechanical and electrical, since you're rewiring the electrics and the mechanics of it. Success by 23. To every person's individual body armor of choice, aka whatever body armor you guys choose to wear, Patrick is able to modify, putting in these small magnetic devices on the inside of your armor, focusing the heating energy on your armpits, groin, head, neck, and hands. It works without a trace. He doesn't overload any system. He doesn't even replace any parts. And Patrick, you can say with a fair degree of certainty, this can last 10 days. 10 days before overheating. And if you get to the 10th day and it does start to overheat, in the back of your mind, you might know a few more emergency procedures to push that out maybe another 3 days.
Right. Patrick would inform everyone of this and assures everyone that dire straits shouldn't be too much of a problem, mainly because if there does need to be battery recharge, we do have a safe haven for at least some time. For batteries to redistribute its energy and not be overworked.
Sounds good to me, honestly.
Yeah, sounds good to me too.
Well, thanks, Patrick. You're sure handy to have around.
Patrick gives actually a small genuine smile to that. And he goes, I haven't thanked you for your services so far. I didn't.
I've hardly
As-
done anything.
But he like stumbles a bit and then just kind of walks away, obviously flustered.
Good old Patrick. Now, Al's power armor doesn't require this modification, but a backup suit of body armor for Al can be made and modified by Patrick. Groovy beans?
Sounds good.
Okay. Everyone else now has modified body armor to withstand with its own heating unit without for at least 10 days. Excellent. Okay.
Oh,
Now, anything else we want to go over? Anything else
Yes.
anyone would like to role play or anything like that? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
I don't think I got the stats for it, but I do have an orb. Big old.
Oh, an orb?
Yeah, the magic glass.
Oh, your vehicle that you got back from the auction hall.
Yeah.
Well, if it's any consolation, it's absolutely not environmentally protected. I mean, wait,
I
it is environmentally protected by magic. Fuck.
I wouldn't say
Oh,
like
how
to
heavy?
just it's protected and all that other stuff, but like I'm more just to like pull the sleigh and all that other stuff. Basically, just use it for our vehicle for the most part. I wouldn't say
guess you
driving
could
around.
put a giant fucking rope around it. I guess.
Tape a rope to it, yeah.
Would my
No, you
jetpack
can.
work in the
It's
cold?
circle. It's a
Yeah.
sphere.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Oh, Inferno! I knew I forgot something with our fucking campaign. God damn it. No, obviously you can use the orb.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say no because I fucking forgot. That's the lamest reason. How about for now though? We leave that as like now for a utility vehicle. If it
Mm.
gets in combat, I'll give you MDC on the fly. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yes.
And we can say it's powered by PPE. It would be environmentally sealed from gases. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Gases and outside environments, and you can breathe without air in it, so it can go underwater. It
Mhm.
can levitate. Question is, can it protect itself from cold or heat? Let's be fair. Piph?
Yep.
Was that one of your specifications? It can be. I mean, I know we're going to
Um,
something cold that you need it, so I don't care.
I
It's
can tell
understandable.
you this. No, he didn't specify specifically for cold and heat environmental things. I think
Okay,
he
great.
wanted to make sure that it was intact for going deep underwater, which may have
Yep,
actually had
it
some
is.
sort of um, like heat and cold thing, but I'm going to say in general, no. I
Okay,
don't think
which
it
is fine
was.
because you can wear your armor and clothes in it, of
Yeah.
course. So that's no big deal. Okay, great. All right, wonderful. No one has a roping skill, do you?
No.
I mean, you guys
Besides,
can use rope. Don't need the special skill or anything. But I was thinking maybe you made a special knot to tie this fucking sleigh to it. All right.
Sadly, no.
I
Okay.
think there's a way to like wrap it around like once one way and another way to then like basically anyone seen like
Tie together.
I can't remember
You
what
can
the
tie a
fuck
rope
it's
to a sphere along
Yeah.
its like middle point. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
As long as it's not rolling, it's just kind of floating a little bit and pushing ahead. That's no big deal. It's when it starts rolling that the rope will really kind of fuck things up.
I'm just worried that it'll like slip. So I think maybe like a double over might be nice.
Well, good thing you're heading over to Baffin Island to try things out.
Hmm.
All right. Speaking of, before I explain the journey, anything else?
Jetpack working cold?
You don't know. It works okay in the winter, but you've never gone anything below minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
But you do have that vehicle de-icer that you got. So once again, might something that may be worthy of experimentation. Good to go. Mm-hmm. Groovy. So, get into the Rhapsody. Get 20 miles up into the sky. The atmosphere of Earth is before you. And for those of you during this journey decide to look out either the front cockpit windows or maybe the few portholes on the side of the Rhapsody, would see the world, the environment race towards you as the Rhapsody hits a high speed and begins to blur through the atmosphere, wind whistling through it. You see the springtime greens, the blossoming forests begin to give way to a pale, pale ocean. Further and further north you stretch up. Everything is just like absolute. Well, you're from such a high point, you don't see any general features or anything in particular in any detail in the land. And after a matter of merely it'd be 50, just under an hour. Just under an hour, you reach this large island. And as you begin to descend towards, or as Alicia and McLaughlin begin to descend the Rhapsody down into towards some secure ground here on the frozen north, two things of note happen. Each of you who were, for lack of a better word, blessed and made a champion of this spirit that you freed, that sensation in your brain about what direction to go to has gotten stronger and stronger as you race up north in the Rhapsody. It's not an unpleasant. It's difficult to explain since this is all very mental and psychic. But imagine a pleasurable pressure in your mind. A way. Now, a lot of pressure built out would create stress and anything like that. But this is almost like your mind is wrapped up in a warm blanket and it's just holding you, snuggling you in tighter and tighter. That kind of pressure. The closer you get towards this northern point of interest. As the Rhapsody begins to descend from the high atmosphere down towards the ground, this island that you have come across at the very, very bottom tip is showing some green, some vegetation, but where you're going to is white, pure ice and rock. And as you descend, you see tiny, tiny in the distance, far beyond the visual range, hopefully, of the creatures down below, what appears to be a large pack of approximately what appears to be about 20 to 30 DBs. Picture, if you will, large mastodon-like creatures similar to woolly mammoths, but they appear to be walking on their back legs, humanoid, erect, as they plod through the snow and ice towards a southerly direction away from your landing point, but in, for lack of better words, some sort of family herd. Soon you descend, tucked in, delightfully out of sight of any living creature. And unfortunately, the Arctic surrounding throughout you across this island, although you do see some of the blue ocean far to the south, it is clear that there are huge ice floes that are being pushed along the water's surface. Perhaps where your landing was a beach at some point, but it is filled with jagged rocks. Further up north of your landing zone, there is a more even terrain, slicked with what appears to be snow that fell for who knows how long. Outside, wait a second. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, so you guys can know what the hell I'm talking about. Minus 35. Outside, Alicia reports that the temperature gauge says that it is currently minus 31 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 35 degrees Celsius for Spiral and I. So, now landing here on this island up north, what would you like to try out for these Arctic winter conditions? We don't have to role play it all that much unless you really, really want to. But if not, you guys can just say, this is what I want to try, and I'll tell you kind of what happens in general terms. Sound good? All right. So what do you want to experiment on? And the really nice thing is that the Rhapsody is close by, so if anything malfunctions, anything gets breached, anything breaks down, you can haul it onto the ship without much worry.
Okay. I know Patrick would generally like to take the orb out. This is the first time that he's taken this out, and this is for testing, so
Okay.
entirely.
I'm assuming you're wrapped up in body armor or your magic armor plus your fur, like your, I don't want to say furs, but your winter outfits. Oh yeah, by the way, I keep saying furs and pelts and stuff like that. The top of the line, the stuff that you have is actually made of thick layers of synthetic cotton, which offers quite a bit of protection, but and it's pretty bulky, but it's not, I guess you could say, traditional gear one would wear, with a bunch of furs and skins and all that good stuff. So it can be whatever color you want, whatever you want to imagine. It's no big deal. Unless you want it to be like white to blend in camouflage.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. Well, say they're white.
Yeah.
They is
Cool.
white. Okay, great. All right, sorry. So you're donning in. So what are you wearing? Body armor or magic armor plus winter clothes?
I guess you would probably be using you'd be using the his magic armor with winter clothes. Mainly because he would like to see how he can maneuver and gesture with these particular pieces on.
Okay. Well, it's tricky, especially with the hand finger digits, but not absolutely impossible. In game terms, what it'll do is that there'll be a 50-50 chance that casting a spell might take double the amount of time. It won't interrupt the spell, right? It won't make the spell useless, but you'll need more time articulating your spell, for lack of a better word, because not only are you wearing golden gauntlets, but then you're wearing this very thick gloves on top, so your fingers can't move very well. Understand?
Yeah.
So there's a 50-50 chance if it's something that takes half your turn to do,
Mhm.
you roll a D100, you get under 50, it takes a full turn to do. Or you can cancel it and do something else.
Yeah.
Make sense? That in general, the orb, whether you try to roll it on the ground, to fly it up high, even take it into the icy water below, it performs quite optimally. Whatever Ziggy and his father did before they disappeared, it seems like they finished this absolutely completely without any viewable flaw.
Okay.
And it doesn't protect against the cold. And the cold air at first hits probably like around your cheeks a little bit. It's a little sudden and cold, especially for you, your character. But you adjust the goggles, you put on the baklava, and everything is good. It's
Okay.
chilly, but you feel warm and secure
Got it.
for now. Yeah. Okay. Anything else people want to try out?
Laser rifle, Chaytek rifle, vibroblade,
Mm-hmm.
jetpack.
Okay. The Vibroblade is interesting. Vibroblade gets bits of frost on it from time to time, but when you turn the vibro field on, it instantaneously evaporates. It works completely optimal and more than fine. Your laser rifle works absolutely more than fine. The Chaitak intervention works for the most part. The tricky thing, however, is loading the ammunition. Sometimes the magazine sticks because of the cold. You know, the metal on metal creates a bit of cold. What this means, transporting into game terms, is that you can use the Chaitak intervention without penalty when firing. When reloading, however, it takes 2 actions to do rather than 1.
Okay.
And so the last one was your jetpack, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The first 10, 20, 30 minutes, up to 30 minutes on your jetpack is absolutely no problem. The energy and heat that it generates when it fires is more than fine. Do you want to try it out for longer than half an hour?
No.
No. So, yeah, it appears that the way the propulsion and the heat that it generates works, if the cold is interfering with it anyway, well, those white hot engines seem to be deflecting the problem.
Okay.
Okay. Would anyone else like to test anything?
I think Tom's just gonna want to get into his cold weather clothes and just stand out for like 5 minutes trying to get used to the weather.
That's perfect, Tom, because Ezex comes out in his own winter clothing, and he says he wants to test something out too. And as he moves only about 3 feet away from you, turns his head, and you see him shuffling around in front of him. Then you see this yellow stream coming out from behind him, hitting the snow. And it spells out an E and a Z before he says, I ran out of fuel, as he zips himself back up and enters the Rhapsody.
Okay. I like Ezex.
Great.
I do have something I would like to test. However, it would take at least 2 hours to test it, so I don't know if we want to hang around here that long or not.
I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, I don't
Do
know.
any characters have any problems with waiting around for 2 hours?
No,
It's better
nope.
to be prepared than not.
Okay. Al would like
Agreed.
to test to see, because his power armor has limited flight capabilities for up to 2 hours. Now, my questions would be this, and I might already know this or not. My character might already know this or not. The 2 hours of flight, is that relevant to how fast you push it? Like, if you're basically just floating along at walking or running speed, does it change that time period at all?
No, the problem is overheating the engine. So as long as the engines are firing, there's always a potential of overheating, which is
That's what I
probably
thought.
why when they made the armor, like when they made the stats for the armor, they gave it a time limit rather than a usage limit.
And that makes sense to me.
Also, frankly, it streamlines it a lot better because now I'd have to keep track of, okay, how hard are you pushing and all this other stuff. A nice flat 2 hours is very convenient.
I'm fine with that. The thing that he would like to test would be to push it to that point to where he doesn't want to overheat it, but to where it's getting to where, that 2 hour time period he needs to stop, and then wait and see how long before it cools down to safely use again.
Okay. About an hour and 50 minutes, your power armor in both your heads-up display and your wrist computer gives a warning that the engines are beginning to overheat, and it suggests that you power it down. Do you do so at an hour and 50 minutes, or do you push it straight to...
No. That's fine.
All right. You power down and you wait there in the air, in the crisp air. Obviously, the entire power armor isn't powered down, just the jet thrusters. The environmental systems are still working at full capacity. And it cools off. Obviously, the status on both your HUD and your computer begins to kind of count down how long it's going to take for the engines, for lack of a better word, engine heat status window. And because of the extreme cold, after 10 minutes, it's optimal again.
Okay.
Which is quite astounding because now I don't know if you've run this experiment. We can say you did. We can say you didn't. You could say you talked to some people who used it. You talked to the salesperson where you bought this from, whatever. However you found out this information, is that typically in more regular climates, it would take 3 fucking hours for that thing to cool down.
Got it. Okay. All right. Neat.
Groovy. Okay. So if all experimentation is done in this cold weather climate, would it be fair to say you all get back up into the Rhapsody and head towards your destination?
Sure.
Yep.
Wonderful. Give me just 2 seconds. I just need to use the washroom, and I'll be right back.
Same here. I need
Okay,
to.
I'll be right back as well.
So I'm taking a small gander at the chat and seeing what they're typing down. The one thing that I caught was dinosaurs in Georgia. Man, that is weird. Try not to read too much, mainly because a lot of people have a lot of information about the game.
Oh, in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love the dinosaurs in Georgia. Man, that's weird.
Yep. Oh, man, Rift in general is just fucking weird. I love it. I love it. Just wait for everyone to come back and get this road on the show.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hey.
Hay is for horses, my friend.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Are we just waiting on Squee? I think we
I
are.
do believe
Because
so.
Bryn's back and Piph is here still. I'm here. At least I think I am.
We forgot Lee! Obligatory, we forgot Lee.
There was a little Spanish flea, a record star he thought he'd be. He had heard of the Beatles, the chipmunks he saw on TV. Why not a little Spanish flea? So you know what he did?
You need some pretty special cameras.
I do.
Yeah.
And so he did. And so he hid in a doggy from Madrid. I don't know the rest of the song.
Dawn.
That's a letdown.
I know I suck. I could look up the lyrics, but Jesus. Squee, how long does it take you to take a piss? And Firefrog, I'm not answering that question. Why would I answer a question about how another NPC is thinking? No one knows that. Only I know that. It will be explained in character when the time is right.
Also, spoilers. Jeez.
What, that she believes Al is Al? I don't think that's
Oh.
spoilers.
Well, it's
No, that's.
I was more going along the lines of what he was asking about. Does she hate him for his
Before?
decision? Yada 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 yada. That stuff that we will go into character later. So that is a spoiler.
Yeah. It's like asking, what's inside this weird meteor cave? I'd be like, fucking find out. Go in. Watch.
Basically, yeah.
Hey, did we ever get a name of the little cherub?
Yeah, you did actually. Their name was Embryo, or is Embryo.
Oh, right, embryo. Yeah, I even wrote that down. Look at that.
Yeah. Squee. It's almost 10 o'clock. I want to put some meat in this adventure, so it wasn't just fucking planning and traveling. Well, chattering teeth was nice, but. Rawr.
Maybe he's trying to write his name in some snow.
Maybe. Did you ever do that, Spiral? I've never done that.
No.
No.
Hi,
Squee.
Hello.
Okie dokie. Alrighty. So you all get in on the Rhapsody, and you continue to head north, guiding whomever might be piloting the Rhapsody with your intuition, your sensation, directing them. And you get closer and closer, and it's more of that warm, comforting, yearning feeling wrapped up into your entire minds until you get only a few miles out, and your entire mind, it's not distracting, specifically, but it's this constant feeling, this constant pressure. And as the Rhapsody moves over to survey the area, it is clear that top left-hand picture there, what might be your destination appears to be this big swirling crater that has been covered and covered and covered in snow, and more importantly, ice. When you traveled up, the water itself had completely frozen over about 20 miles out. 20 to 15 miles out. Before that, it was just big broken up ice flows, but you don't know where the solid ground begins and the ice starts. And you come across your sensation as you do kind of a quick cursory fly over this area. You know, as an intuition, as much as you know your own name, that this itself is the spot. But there's a small problem, and that is articulated by both Bear and Blink, which is in this area right now, they believe that this is all solid ice. And landing the Rhapsody on solid ice comes itself with a very large risk. They suggest that they head 15 miles to the southeast on what was a large rocky mountain that has a small plateau on it where it's known to be solid ground. So you, as players and champions of light, have a choice to make. You can either land very, very close to this crater, this meteor entrance that you need to delve into to free these spirits, and run the risk of the ice breaking. Now, of course, even if the ice breaks, everyone is safe inside the Rhapsody, instant death isn't going to happen. But large shards of ice Remember, an iceberg did take down the Titanic, and whatever rock formations that might be under the ice could cause serious damage, or maybe even a hull breach in the Rhapsody. Things could get very bad. Or you land on what is clearly a mountainside, very safe, solid earth beneath your feet, and do a 15-mile hike to the destination. Now, in this snow, Bear would suggest, since he's very familiar with outdoor climbs, that with the snow and the snowshoes and everything like that, that's between a 6 and a 7.5 hour hike.
Wasn't
So-
somebody bringing a vehicle? Like, didn't you say you're using a hover bike or that orb? Can't we like just hover over the crater, ferry like a few people down, and then have everybody else go park?
I will say the orb really doesn't have much room in it.
No, it only really has room for one person, maybe another one if they scrunch in.
Actually, that's a very good question, though. There might be something to that. And here's an important thing: the Rhapsody itself, does it generate lift with downward pressure? Could we levitate?
Yeah, it does.
So we would have to be a decent ways above the land to
Yes.
avoid damage to it. I could theoretically ferry people down with the body armor.
Body armor?
The
armor.
power armor, like hold you and then kind of gently levitate everyone down. But that would
Okay.
take a bit of time.
And if you drop them,
Kind of dangerous. Well, I'm sure we could harness them to me somehow. We could
I
jerry-rig something.
let's not like dick around with this. I'd rather just be safer than sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with 15 miles. This
Sure.
is fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want you guys to poo-poo any sort of creative idea of lifting it down. If you guys want to discuss this further, feel free. Though, just because I brought two options doesn't mean they're the only two options.
Yeah,
Well,
it'll be
honestly,
very
now, well,
complicated.
but now that I think about it, a simple harness to tie them to the power armor, and I don't see much of a danger there.
including all of our gear.
Hell, you could just
Yeah, it's a power armor. I can carry it.
drop rope and have everybody slide down a rope. I mean, they do
Yeah,
this
we
out of
could just drop
helicopters,
the
right?
rope.
Yeah.
Harness yourself to the rope, slide down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would we have had repelling equipment along with our ice stuff?
With your ice stuff?
Well, wait
Yeah,
a minute.
with our
Wait a
cold
minute.
weather gear.
Hang
No.
on. Hang on. Al's bringing a bike.
No, I don't
Pip-
think he
No.
is.
Power armor, not a bike.
Power armor.
Okay,
Yeah.
but okay, whatever. You can get yourself down. Piph can get himself down. I can get myself down, which leaves Tom and Neela, maybe.
Yeah. Well, she'll be in the adventure next week, so yeah, she has to come down.
Yeah. Basically just me
And whatever
and
NPCs you want to take with you.
Okay. We can keep this simple too. I can cast fly in an object, and you can use it to float down.
Okay.
An object. It can't be metal.
Right. No. There's
Has
got
to
to be
be
something
organic.
on the Rhapsody that would work.
Why would you think there'd be something on the Rhapsody, my friend? It was all made. The Rhapsody was made as a spaceship where there was absolutely no wood possible. It is all literally metal and plastic.
Right, but we live there. We got to have.
Well, if you have a
something that we brought
possession
with
in your inventory, sure.
it.
But even the stretcher has a metal aluminum
The
foundation.
sled we bought, and it's not wood.
Probably not if it's high quality.
Yeah, if it's a modern sled, no, it's plastic,
Well, never mind then.
plastic frame. I mean, if you have something, you have something, right? But remember where the Rhapsody was made.
Right. No, never mind on that one.
Okay.
Well, I'm willing to ferry someone down if we want to go that way.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's figure out. All right, like you just said, Lavin, Al, and Patrick are fine. So it's for player characters, it's Tom and Mila for sure, right?
Yes. Do we want anybody else to come? Anyone?
It's entirely up to you. I'm not going to force NPCs on you guys.
I'm fine with a few people coming, though the smaller the party, the less people we have to worry about in the cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone, I think Bear's great for such a thing.
Okay, Bear.
I'm-
Anyone else?
Seems to be
No, I'm
knowledgeable
good.
about the cold weather.
Yeah, I'm good with everything else. I mean, with no one else.
Okay.
Okay, just Bear.
All right, that's fine. And the rest of them can kind of act as backup. You guys are going to be within radio range, so if you need some fucking backup post haste,
Mhm.
they might be able to deploy for you. Okay, so Bear. So let's deal with the player characters first, and then unless you guys, okay, Bear's a pretty big guy. He's a pretty heavy guy, but robotic strength is not all that difficult. All right. So the question is, are you going to be carrying someone like bridal style or firefighter style, or are you going to harness them with some rope? How are we going to get Tom and Mila and Bear down?
Well, you said people could squish into Piff's orb, right?
Regular size. For-
Mila's pretty small, and
Yeah, Mila's fine. Tom's fine. Bear was not gonna fit. Is not gonna fucking fit in there.
well, I was thinking we go one trip and we put Mila in the orb, and then
Yeah, that's
me and
fine. You
Al
can make
take either
multiple
Tom or
trips.
Bear.
Yeah.
It's
So the
pa-
only
is it-
question is Bear then.
Does power armor give you the robotic strength, or how does that
Oh,
work?
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Bet you're better at piloting robot or power armor than I am at piloting jetpack. Or is there even a percent for that skill?
Oh yeah. Squee? He's typing.
Yeah, sorry. You know what? I'm sure. Well, I'm sure. I should stop saying I'm sure. Probably
Yeah.
tie some sort of chain or sturdy strap around Bear's body armor, like a rappelling harness, where it kind of goes around his torso and under his legs and back up, and then he can just attach it, say, around my neck or arm, so that we're fairly secure to each other.
Okay,
I know
roll
how
me-
to do it. I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, that's fine. Do you think you have any skills to assist you in this? Or do you want to do a straight D100 roll?
Let me look real quick. I don't think there's any particular skills that would help with that. No, not really. So
All right,
I'll
roll
just
me a
do it straight.
D100, see how well you do with tying off this harness.
Sure. I rolled an 11.
Yeah, you do a very good job, despite both the bulk of the power armor and Bear, of course, especially he has fully environmental armor now. Yeah, you were able to harness him just fine. So, with lack of any additional fanfare, the Rhapsody hovers 100 feet over the. Sorry, I'm just seeing someone typing here, so I don't know if I'm gonna be. Oh, all right. Where was I?
Hovers 100 feet.
Yeah. The Rhapsody hovers 100 feet above the ground, where the thrusters won't disturb the ice. If it does, it's just small gusts of wind when you get down to the ground level. Patrick, in his transportation sphere, we'll call it, first ferries down Tom, and then ferries down Mila. Al, after strapping Bear into the harness, lands down towards the mouth of this cave, for lack of a better word, and both of them are able to descend without much problem. Although I do need Al to roll me another D100, please, because it's flying down isn't the problem; it's the piling. Okay.
Whoops.
Bear's
You
dead.
land no, but unfortunately, you land harder than anticipated.
Yay.
Okay. As your metal feet and Bear's bulk hits the metal, sorry, not the metal, hits the snowy ground, you everyone hears a very large crack from where Al and Bear are standing. It crackles out. You don't see underneath anything in the snow, and you haven't lost your footing, Al. But that crack was pretty loud. You're all kind of staying there. Mila and Patrick are in his sphere. Tom has gotten out of his sphere. Lavin has landed nearby. Mila holds Patrick tight, and she says, "I'm scared, Patrick. I don't want to go into the acid depths. It's dark in there. I don't like the dark." You like my Mila impression?
Al, yes,
Or
actually,
Ellie?
it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty great.
And
modest,
Al
too.
would quickly detach Bear from him, and then,
Like, by quickly, you mean cut the ropes and straps?
correct, yeah.
Okay, so you
as
take out your
quickly as
knife and
possible.
cut the ropes and straps, so now they're not very usable anymore. Okay.
And then Al would, because this is the point of impact and probably the most dangerous part, Al would hold Bear's hands. He would hover about 10 feet off the ground so that Bear's like hanging. His feet are like a few feet off the ground, and then slowly.
No. Bear's gonna rest his arm around you, and he says, "No more movement. I will displace my weight," he says, as he gets down on the ground and extends his arms and legs to either side. Unless you force his hand up.
No, absolutely not. He's the expert here.
Yeah. So you're hovering in the air, and Bear in his body armor is displaced there. And he says, someone, and he kind of looks over toward Labin, "Hand me a rope or something I can reach on, and you can pull me to relative safety. Hurry," says Bear as you hear another crack.
I don't have a rope.
Yeah, and the rope is cut now around him.
I'll dig through my supplies and try and find a rope.
Patrick has his handy dandy 100-foot light rope. Good friend, but he's an orb.
No, yeah. Why can't can Al just kind of, like I was saying before, grab him by the arms, hover him a little bit, and move him through the air?
Thrusters, says Bear, as he points over towards them. Can't have any additional weight. He's sprawled out on the ground, right? So in order to hover down to him, your thrusters will be, what, a foot?
Oh, he's on. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
got
he's on the
it.
ice.
Yeah. Got it now. I understand. I don't have a rope,
but Patrick does. All right, Patrick, grab your rope, but you're inside the sphere there. Mila has now piggybacked on top of you, or Ellie, or whomever.
All right. I guess he will rotate the orb so he's not standing on the opening. Basically, this is kind of like two halves that kind of become whole when it closes. He's trying not to be on the crack.
You know what? Let me help you guys with visualization here. Where's your icons? There you are. There's Lavin. There's Al. There's Mila. Oh, wait. Are you in the right layer? No. God damn it. You guys can't see the icons, can you?
No. The iceberg is moving around.
I know. It's because I want it to happen. Because I will it. I will
Softly whimsical of you.
Yes.
Giant Ellie appears. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I gotta move them first and then move them around and resize them. No, not you. Tom. Where's Bear? Bear. No, that's Blink. It's Blink again. Why are there two pictures of Blink? Have you been in my inbox? There's Bear. Oh, god damn it. They're on the wrong layer again. Oh, and I just sent Bear to the map layer. Fuck it. Now you're going there. This is exciting. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
Did you guys see that ludicrous display?
Yeah. What?
Last night?
Did you see me land so good?
Yeah,
So
totally.
good.
Okay. Bear is here. Al is hovering here. He's in the air. He's not on the ice. Tom is here. Patrick. Oh, God damn it. And Ellie are here. Lavin is here. Okay. So Bear's sprawled out, asking for a rope. All right. So Patrick, you so you're still in the sphere?
Yeah, it's basically opened up like there's the bottom half cupping myself and Mila,
Uh-huh.
and the top has opened up.
Opens up. All right. Hinges open.
He's gonna ask Mila to help or help not have his hands hindered. One of the
Okay,
two.
she says as she crawls out into like the open half, like the upside cup part of there, and she thrashes around there like a dead fish for a bit. She tries to get her footing, but she's but your arms are now free.
Patrick would hover close.
Okay.
Um,
Oh yeah, I guess you can't control it. So like here. Okay.
and then he would continuously try to toss the rope towards one of his hands until he got it to the right spot.
Okay. Just roll a D100 and we're gonna see how many attempts it takes. I'm not gonna have you keep 80. It takes you 4 attempts. 4 attempts, but on the 3 attempts, they first fail. After the second one, you hear ice cracking again. Bear has a very worried look on his face. But on the 4th attempt, sure enough, the rope lands nearby his hand. He's able to gingerly grip it. And he holds on tight, and he wraps his other arm around it too, and he kind of nods to you, ready to be dragged.
Patrick nods, and he's going to try to stand as bracingly as possible and try to move
in a
the
sphere.
orb.
Okay, you pilot the orb and hold on to the rope. And now this is interesting because Bear is heavier than you.
Yes.
God damn it, Inferno. Let's not overthink of it. It's getting late.
It is. I will say it is on ice, and even
But you're hovering though, right? But he's on
yeah.
ice. Yeah, ice
Yeah.
and snow. Yeah. Well, there's ice underneath the snow. But yeah, no, you are able to drag Bear to safety. After you have to, you miss your footing a few times, but you're able to, reacquit yourself, and Bear comes along to safety. Unfortunately, under the ice and snow, the cracking sound has stopped, but you're not able to see where the cracks have divoted. Bear says that this might be a good thing, because if there were very deep cracks or if things were about to fall completely, it would probably crack the snow as well. Tom and Lavin, roll me D100, s'il vous plaît. Oh my god.
Whoa!
Well, okay.
You sever the world in two.
No, this
Shit.
this is a bit of a waste of a 1, but that's okay.
Well, now you make me sad.
No, I'm gonna try to make it less of a waste and give you more details, as much details as you can get. Moments after, actually, no, this one will be very good. Moments after, Bear stands back on his feet and brushes snow off of his armor, thanking Patrick profusely and letting everyone know he's okay, and dealing with a bear hug from Mila. Tom, you notice in the distance to the north, well, more east than north, but slightly northernly, 2 figures are walking in towards your general direction. And the very fact that you can spot this is astounding. It is later in the day, approximately 5 o'clock, but the sun is still relatively high. And across the expanse, the frozen expanse, the sun is reflecting off of the snow, causing many of you to need to squint to look around if you're really gauging the horizon. But perhaps by chance, perhaps by skill, more than likely a combination of the two, you see beyond the glare 2 figures. And they're also dressed in what appears to be dark furred skins. They appear to be human. There's a pair of them. One is taller than the other. They both seem to have hand-to-hand weapons. One's clearly holding some sort of spear or having strapped to their back, while the other one doesn't appear to have any weapons in their hand. Once again, though, these are small dots on the horizon. And you can estimate, quite quickly, mind you, that they are probably 3/4 of a mile off.
I'll let the rest of the group know this.
Okay. Tom informs you of approaching figures pointing in that direction. Over the radio, you can hear Alicia say, "Shit, I didn't see them on the approach." No one saw them on the approach.
I check it out with the telescopic lens in my eye.
Okay.
You can see something better.
Sure. Once again, the glare of the snow is a little bit tricky, but a part of your winter gear are also, I guess I should mention this with Tom too, but I just remembered. Part of your winter gear are also goggles, tinted goggles, of course. So putting those on with your magnified eye, you can see a little bit more detail. They're still small in your visage, but you're able to make up some details. They are both they're both humanoid, 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 head, but they are covered head to toe in actual furs. Dark brown furs from their hoods down to their boots. You've had quite a bit of time outdoors, so you probably recognize them as both bear, wolf, and buffalo furs with seal-skinned boots, black seal-skinned boots. Sure enough, one person, the slightly smaller and possibly a woman of the two, she's on the left. She has a spear strapped to her back. They both appear to be wearing snowshoes as they trudge along. The one on the right seems older and male, but you're not able to get any sort of facial details for 2 reasons. 1, the distance is still quite great despite the magnification, and 2, their faces are completely covered. You can see the reflection of their own goggles with this white fur trimmed around the goggles on either side. They are definitely walking towards you, and you don't know if they've noticed you or not. More importantly, the Rhapsody that's hovering 100 feet into the air. They probably noticed that.
Yeah. We weren't able to get any of our gear down, were we?
Not yet. Except for some of the stuff that's in Patrick's bubble.
Well, there's not much for it. I mean, it's not like we can attempt to try and hide.
Well, you can go into the hole.
Yeah. So I say just wait
I would
for them
like
and prepare
for the Rhapsody to attempt a prowl check.
Okay. Roll
maybe
1d. I'm doing something here.
Oh,
It fails its prowl check.
Shit.
curses. My thought would be just wait for them and see what happens and just be prepared. Maybe tell the Rhapsody to move up out of sight.
Like higher into the air? Oh,
Yeah.
that's what you mean by up. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going for now. Okay.
The
So-
other up.
The other up. So the Rhapsody shoots high into the air as you all sit and wait. Not sit, but stand and wait outside the cave for these two figures to approach. And although it's a bit of a tease, I think it might be a fine time to end the session here because it's about a half hour before we normally start. I mean, I could keep going and it could be anything, right? But it would be interesting to start next session with you meeting what these figures are and dealing with that in total, unless you guys really want to keep going.
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm okay with.
That way, having the start of the next session.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Okay.
I'm
that.
down with whatever.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, I was hoping to get to these points earlier, but you can't control the pace of the game or anything like that. So, yeah. Well, the good news is that no one's going to freeze to death yet or fall into the water yet. So there's that. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll stop streaming and go from there.
Yeah, we're going to stop here. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you in 3 Galaxies, very likely going to be next week, Wednesday,
Yep.
hopefully, depending on how Squee is feeling.
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, well,
No, he's dead.
We'll
He's
see.
dying.
We'll
Everyone knows
see.
it.
you
I'm
had a
fine, thank you.
you had a bit of a migraine last time, so
Yes.
we'll
It
figure it
doesn't
out.
last a week.
We don't need to hash this out in front of the internet.
I know. I'm just delaying this for as long as possible. Anyways, we'll see you today. Bye.